When you look at it, you kind of think it's a bad place, but I don't know what it looked like before, so...
The light used to come down and they had lots of crisscross beams of wood at the top, and it used to make amazing shadows. And as the sun moved throughout the day, it would cast all of these shadows down onto the concrete floor, and it was actually really, really beautiful. You know, when we see old castles, quite often they've just kind of done them up a bit so they don't fall down. You can wander around them and explore the battlements and kind of look out and imagine how things used to be. We want to do the same thing with this building, so just accept it. It's a ruin, but do it up, make it safe, and then allow people to wander around it. All these old walkways that go through the woods, and you can just see them. They're like hidden now under. If you imagine loads of trees have fallen and loads of leaves have fallen over 100 years, you can just see the traces of these paths. And one of the things that's nice about an old woods is this thing of you can go exploring. It's not just like a park where you've got your swings there and you've got a car park there and a cafe there. It's much more. When you go there, you get it's a bit of an adventure, and you can discover things along the way. For me, NVA's work's quite driven by looking at the natural world and natural forms and natural phenomena. And I really like this challenge of inside-outside, and being inside the building but feeling as if the outside's penetrating, and just getting that whole balance between the two is... with a good architectural competition that will, you can really explore those themes.
I actually used to come up with a pair of secateurs and sort of cut back a lot of the rhododendrons, the tunnels and things. So it's great to see that there's, the paths are now easier to walk on, and I hope lots more people from the village will come up, because there's a lot of people don't even know this is here.
We didn't know the waterfall was there, because you couldn't have get down there. So no, it's really good.
Lovely.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
For me, it's the most fantastic place in the village. It's somewhere, you're so close to the city, but it's such a rural kind of wilderness, if you like, and it's so quiet, and there's such a great history associated with it as well.
Well, it'd make a nice sort of park and that, walking around them. No idea about the building. I believe the rooms are quite small because it was designed for like student priests. I've no idea about that, but this would make a really nice woodland walk around here.
when you've lived in this area all this time and you don't realise what's happening. It's very bad of us, but you don't see it. It's so hidden, isn't it?
The idea of, just basically not spending a huge amount of money, but stopping the building falling down, reopening up the path networks, getting a productive landscape going again in the walled gardens. These are really simple steps that I think have a lot of local support, and that's a very good starting point. It's like a building block, it's like a foundation stone for this, so it works on a local level as well as a national level.
I've never heard of it before, but I looked at it yesterday and it looks amazing, and now it is amazing. Especially on a day like today, it's perfect. So good.
It's quite an exciting place for a youngster to run about here and see all the different, see the rhododendrons and all that sort of stuff. That's a common feature about here, but you've no reason for it. You know what I mean? As we come to it now, there's no big house, there's no roads leading into it. It just seems kind of an abandoned area, and you come across these rhododendron tunnels and things like that. You know, it's as a kid quite exciting.
I have been on the main route, but I hadn't seen this place before. I was told there was quite a few places to be seen here. I couldn't find them, and I saw the leaflet there, and I thought this is a chance to see the thing. So, it's really nice. I never thought, this place was so much hidden.
I just think it should be demolished. To me, that's the carbuncle on the estate. And I think there's a lot of people in the village think the same thing. I remember it when it was new and when the chapel was new. I mean, the chapel was beautiful, but it was still a carbuncle. You know, it's like one of these multi-storey car parks in Glasgow. It really is when you look at it.
It's a thing that a lot of people worldwide would come and see, and where the locals think get it down because it's just been a hub.
What do we know? You know, we don't know much about architecture, but I believe
I
it's
don't
quite
think the one can survive without the other. You know, you
have to have the seminary.
You have to have something there in order to keep this going.
Yes, I think so.
Like really interesting place to kind of use as a blank canvas, but not in the kind of conventional kind of scrawly way that people just make a mess. So yeah, we're kind of keeping anonymous, but it's making people kind of think more like a wee bit differently to actually the ruin, because a lot of people will probably see it and think the spray paint there is like ruining it, which I think it is. Like all the rubbish there is just little kids, but I come from like an art background, like doing public art and environmental art, so it kind of like fits in with that kind of vein, like using your kind of your surroundings and like making a difference and like causing a reaction from someone that's not just, oh, that's just a mess. Someone might think, oh, why is someone coming up and spent all the time just taking a little, like one of the little altars and restoring it back to the way it was in amongst all the rubbish. But I think it's quite interesting. Like,
I remember going there first and saying, what is this? You know, it's not my style of architecture. And then it started coming up again and again, and I started to warm to it. And then seeing all the young people, I know they're not allowed in there, and I was sort of speaking to somebody on site, and they said, oh yes, they're just drinking, boozing, shooting drugs and so on. And then the second time I went up there, I started chatting to them, and they were really enthusiastic about the whole adventure, not only of the woodlands, but of that seminary site as well. Sort of discovering where do you find things these days that are different and totally unusual.